If you've seen the Owl House, who do you think is a better mom? Put it down in the comments real quick before this video and tell me who you think and give me reasons. And then come to the end and tell me if your opinion changed or if it stayed. There's definitely a parallel that you're supposed to draw as an audience member with these two parents and whether which one is better. Much like how you're supposed to draw as a dark reflection with Bellows and Hunter with how Luz and Ida are. Which may be a video in the future, who knows, I don't know. It might be a video in the future. So yeah, the question is, in the Owl House, is Ida a better mom for Luz? And with that title, before anybody says it, I'm not saying that Camila is a bad mom. In fact, she may be a pretty good mom. The question is about who's better, not really that one is bad and one is good. So before you start thinking that, just think about that, please. Thank you. And even with that said, one reason that Camila might be a bad mom, first time we see her in the first episode, she is sending Luz to a camp to be reformed. Which is understandably so because she hasn't had any friends for several years and has been living in fantasies and being kind of just like a weirdo freak. Not even just like, oh, I'm into weird things and but I'm quiet about it, or she's overtly weird about stuff, which is definitely something that like most people won't like. Especially with the one I think that I don't want to show, but I might show, I don't know, that might be blurred, because I think that's gross. Which gave a really bad impression of the show the first time I watched. One of the next times that we see Camila is in the Grom episode, where she comes up as an apparition of being Luz's greatest fear, your greatest fear of Luz not being accepted by her, essentially, because she'll shun her out, which is very much could be the case because of the first episode. Literally has that exact plotline, literally has that exact character moment of that happening. But in actuality. But with this one, it's her choice of not going back to Earth, not sending her a text, even though she's been there, and she could send a text at any point, and she could go back at any point, but decides not to. And then after that, later, way later, in like season 2, where it's a mirror dimension apparition of Luz, Camila says that she needs to come back home and everything, and that she needs to promise that she comes back home, which Luz ultimately agrees to, but she's hesitant about because she actually doesn't want to go back or be with the mom, because at the next point, Ida is very good for the development of Luz. She helps and teaches Luz about the world that she's in, even some of the social structure of the world, kind of teaching her how to talk to people mainly through experience, but also sometimes talking about some things. It may play some tricks or get her into danger sometimes, but Luz is ultimately fine with it and learns better about social situations and everything. And ever since meeting Ida, Luz has been transfixed on knowing everything about her and loves her and loves to know details about her. She loves to know about her world, and she wants to know about what she's interested in. She wants to know about her entire life, what life and past of Ida, especially the past, like with her sister and her little love life thing, where she gets so excited to learn any bit of information about her. And even though Luz gets into danger and trouble all the time, she ends up enjoying it. She's always in danger in every episode, but she never gives up and wants to leave, because of a big thing, which is Camila can't compete because of the Boiling Isles itself. Because back at home, Luz doesn't fit in. Nobody likes her, she has no friends all the way up until high school age. So even all the way up until high school, so much of development, she hasn't had a friend. But then she goes into the Boiling Isles, and she has two best friends there within the first day of going to the school, and she eventually grows to have admiration from people and everything, to even be able to stand up to a bully, which also, she even gets a girlfriend, which is crazy. Because in the previous world, she had nobody, not even a friend. And now she has so many friends and a girlfriend. And not only a girlfriend, but a girlfriend that loves her and appreciates her. They both help each other out through emotional moments, and they care about each other and love each other. And it's so cute. And then also in this world, Luz is a prodigy with magic and learns very fast with it, where we see her in one episode she learns a light spell, then she starts learning more spells, and then has so many spells coming so fast that you can't even keep up with it. They do a lot of off-screen little learning of magic, but we see that she develops so fast, and she grows up so fast with learning how to do magic, which I don't think they really say anything about how she's doing in schoolwork within the first episode, but in this world they show that she's really excelling, which is crazy because she doesn't even have magical powers. She's learning it as somebody without a witch heart, which contains magic. And with her teacher being Ida, making her go along the path so much faster throughout so many steps of the way, to the point where Luz is just teaching herself how to do it. So instead of being forced to hide who she is and try to go to a camp to try to like reform her into being somebody that she's not, she can embrace and be herself and learn to be incredible. Somebody that's truly incredible in this world, which she can't do in her own dimension, in her own world. Which is why Ida is just a better mom for her. Even though Camila isn't a bad at all, Ida is just way more perfect for particularly Luz's development. And her world really attributes to that a lot, because of just how perfect it is for her and her personality and who she can be as a person. One thing is that Luz didn't decide to go back in the first episode, but not only that, she could have gone back anytime during season 1 and didn't. She could have gone back at any time because of the danger or just something going on, but she never did during season 1. And then there's season 2, even when she was at her worst and the most conflict was happening, she didn't want to go back. And I think that really leads to one of the big things about her, that like she doesn't want to go back to her normal life. She likes this life more, even with all the torture and torment, because that was better than her normal boring life. I said normal. And that's why the Boiling Isles is ultimately better for her, because in the normal world she is ostracized. In this world she is ostracized by the government, but she still enjoys that more than being ostracized by her peers. And here's a little side note that I find interesting through the little bit of research I did for this video, that with how Ida is good for Luz's development, Camila might be better for V's development. Even accepting her for being a shapeshifter basilisk, which was a big fear for V, which is why she always disguised herself, which they're being hunted for that reason, but Camila accepts her into her arms completely. And V in that world has a loving mom and even friends, even though yeah, she is disguised as Luz, so that makes it kind of a little bit weird. But she has friends and she has a loving mom, and even after revealing herself, the mom still loves her and treats her as a daughter. This could lead to a darker thing of V being the daughter that Camila wanted more than Luz, since she can handle a shapeshifter basilisk from another dimension more than she can her own daughter, which is made of flesh and human blood. We also went to that reality check summer camp to reform her in Luz's place and made friends. They made friends who are weirdos there, meaning that that place of reforming doesn't really help well at all, or at least maybe they just teach them to not be outwardly weird towards everybody. But anyway, that means something big for the show, meaning that Luz probably could have never have gone to that dimension and had perfectly normal life after that point. Those are 3 different kids that are applied to go to a reform school that all have turned out to be weirdos that V, disguised as Luz, was able to get along with. So maybe in an alternative history, little actual plot spoilers for season 2 by the way, but that means that if Luz just stayed there, or even just came back after the first trip there and decided to go back instead of staying, she could have gone to that camp and everything and probably have become a normal person. And not in like, oh, she has to give up her personality and everything, her individualism, but that she learns how to act appropriate within social situations and had actual friends. And then Bellows, whose development into the biggest villain happened because of Luz time traveling in that one episode in season 2, showing that the reason that he's in power and that he's such a big bad guy is partly because of Luz, meaning that if she stayed there, probably the best of both worlds could have happened and no conflict, which is a crazy thought of an alternative history for this show. Also, I didn't know until research that they called themselves V because of them being the number 5 within the test subject type of stuff, which 5, which is the V Roman numeral, even though the name is V with 2 E's, but still, I didn't put that together, and I may be stupid because of that, but I bet some of you didn't know. Tell me you knew that the first time you saw her be V and also number 5. I may be stupid, but I'm not dumb. And so, I clearly have a pick for the better mommy. But who do you think is the better mommy for Luz? Is Ida the better mom? Or is Camila just put in the area that she can't compete with her just because of the different environments? Or am I stupid and didn't think of something very obvious? Because that's probably the case, and please tell me, because I do not know. I would love to know if I messed up, and if there's better reasons in the comments why should it be the opposite, or even just stuff for my argument that I didn't think of. Because that's definitely the case, because I'm doing this all based on memory and did a tiny bit of research, and mostly that was on V, which is why I had that little tidbit of information. And do so in the comments, please. And with all that said, yep, bye bye. Also, can you guys watch my Owl House ASMR that I did? Oh yeah, I did ASMR of the Golden Guard. I was like, Ida the owl, Ida the owl lady, Ida the owl. So if you guys could watch that, I'll be very grateful. And also, yeah. Bye bye.